Hey, so tonight I want to listen to a song by Lil Feat, a band from the 1970s and beyond. The song is Fat Man in the Bathtub. This is probably going to be, I think it's the most risque song that I've covered here. It's a rather gritty subject that it deals with, which I'll get to in a minute. But I want to talk about the music of Lil Feat. This first incarnation being led by a man named Lowell George, who was an incredibly talented singer, songwriter, guitarist. Died at a very young age, unfortunately. Little Feat moved on. They're still a great band. But this song was written by George, and what I really like about this era of a lot of music is that it brought all these huge influences in and fused them together. Now, maybe the clearest version of this would be jazz fusion because it's in the name. But I think that was happening. We had this kind of explosion of history meeting modernity in the 1970s popular music, and it produced some great stuff. In this tune, I really like the guitar sound. It's gritty, it's dirty, it's really chunky, and it's a rock tune, but there's a lot of funk influence here, and so it's really great. Now to the subject of the tune, and again, it's probably the grittiest tune that I've covered. It really reminds me of one of my favorite novelists, Irvine Welsh, even though he's Scottish. This band is from the U.S. Nonetheless, just that grittiness that they kind of get into storytelling. It's not pretty, and yet the song is very engaging and upbeat. Or one might say that it's more along the lines of like a Charles Bukowski story. A story of a man who, under a delusion, thinks that he's in love with this woman that he hires as a sex worker and becomes insanely jealous of her other clients, the fat man in the bathtub. Serves as a double entendre there because at once he's jealous of this other client and also fat man in the bathtub. Apparently, I read online, so hopefully this is correct. Was a euphemism for female anatomy, and so kind of serves as a double function there. The man is also buying drugs, presumably somewhere in Los Angeles, it seems like. And so that's kind of the essence of the story. It's a story that could, you could write a whole novel on that story. And yet I think this is a really great example of where the literary meets the musical and comes together in a really striking way. Most people associate that sort of thing with really more beautiful, sentimental values within a musical tradition or with political music. But this one is really telling a rather gritty story encased in a really wonderful song. So this is Fat Man in the Bathtub, originally on their 1973 album, Dixie Chicken. Yeah, that's the one. And if it's not, I'll double check that. I'll correct it in the description if I'm wrong on that, because I have it on a best of. But I do know it's 1973. Anyway, here we go. Fat Man in the Bathtub by Lil Feat. Oh, wrong song. There we go.
Stop it, baby, got down on his hands.
a hard groove, man. It's a hard groove. I said, Juanita, my sweet Juanita, love that bass line.
Cause there's a bad man
In the bathtub with the blues.
out here you
I think one of the things to learn from this song as a musician is how to listen to other instruments when you're playing and to build. So this song, you'll hear that none of the members of the band are really stepping over each other. They're complementing each other, and they're finding where we can build layers on that. And that's a really, really cool thing to hear in this particular track. It's something that Little Feat does really well. So another thing to learn, this is lyrically, whenever someone says that all I want is some good, clean fun, they want the exact opposite of that. I said, Juanita, my sweet Juanita, what are you up to? Here comes the bass line. With the blues. Like the female singers in the back. All right, another thing I love, which relates to what I've been talking about with Little Feat so far, is the interplay between the drums and the percussion that you can kind of hear. It's not obvious. You know, there's some groups that make it obvious, which is great. I love that too. In this, it's very subtle. You can hear, it's kind of like a dialogue in the background between the drummer and the percussionist. You're playing different drums, but you know, it really meshes well together. Anyway, so that's Little Feat, Fat Man in the Bathtub. Peace.